In what year did Princess Diana die? 1997. Princess Diana, formerly Dinah Spencer, died on August 31, 1997, in a car crash in Paris, France. Her death caused widespread public mourning globally and raised significant questions about media intrusion and royal security. What is the national airline of Spain? Iberia. Iberia Líneas Aéreas de España S.A. Operadora, Sociedad Unipersonal is the flag carrier airline of Spain, based in Madrid. It serves as a major international and domestic carrier and is a member of the One World Airline Alliance. Which English word is derived from the Icelandic word meaning, to gush? Giza. The word, Giza, originates from Gizeh, the name of a famous erupting hot spring in Iceland, which itself comes from the Icelandic verb, goza, meaning, to gush. Geysers are a natural geological phenomenon, rare types of hot springs that periodically eject columns of hot water and steam. At which city do the Blue and White Niles meet? Khartoum. Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, is strategically located at the confluence of the Blue Nile, originating from Lake Tana in Ethiopia, and the White Nile, originating from Lake Victoria. This meeting point is crucial for the Nile River's flow northwards to Egypt and is a significant geographical landmark. What is the study of reptiles called? Herpetology. Herpetology is the branch of zoology dedicated to the study of amphibians, frogs, toads, salamanders, newts, and reptiles, snakes, lizards, crocodiles, turtles. This field encompasses their anatomy, physiology, behavior, ecology, and conservation. USAF Boeing VC-25 is also known as what when the President of the United States is on board? Air Force One. Air Force One is the official air traffic control call sign for any U.S. Air Force aircraft carrying the President of the United States. The current primary aircraft used for this purpose is the highly customized Boeing VC-25, a military version of the Boeing 747. What region did Khrushchev transfer to Ukraine in 1954? Crimea. In 1954, Nikita Khrushchev, then the first secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, transferred the Crimean Oblast from the Russian SFSR to the Ukrainian SSR. This decision, made to mark the 300th anniversary of the Treaty of Pereyaslav, had significant geopolitical implications later in history. In alchemy, what was aqua fortis? Nitric acid. In historical alchemy and early chemistry, aqua fortis was the traditional name for nitric acid, hydrogen nitrate. It was known for its strong corrosive properties and its ability to dissolve silver but not gold, distinguishing it from aqua regia, a mixture of nitric and hydrochloric acid, which could dissolve gold. Halophytes are plants adapted to growing in which conditions? Salty. Halophytes are a group of plants that have evolved specialized mechanisms to tolerate and thrive in environments with high salt concentrations, such as coastal marshes, salt deserts, and mangrove swamps. They employ strategies like salt exclusion, accumulation, or excretion to survive these challenging conditions. What was unusual about Ben Jonson's burial in Westminster Abbey? Buried standing up. The renowned English playwright and poet Ben Jonson was indeed buried standing upright in Westminster Abbey in 1637. This unusual burial was likely due to a combination of his preference, a desire to save space in the crowded abbey, and potentially financial constraints. If the Speaker wants a Member of Parliament to leave the chamber, what action does he take? Names him, her. The Speaker of a legislative body names an MP to order their removal from the chamber for disorderly conduct. This is a disciplinary measure under parliamentary rules, enforced to maintain decorum and order during proceedings. Which English king is buried in Worcester Cathedral? King John. King John, famously associated with the signing of the Magna Carta, died in 1216 and was subsequently buried in Worcester Cathedral. He remains the only English monarch interred at this historic site, as per his final wishes. St. Mungo's Cathedral is situated in which British city? Glasgow. St. Mungo's Cathedral, also known as Glasgow Cathedral, is a medieval cathedral located in Glasgow, Scotland. Dedicated to St. Mungo, the patron saint of Glasgow, it stands as a significant historical and architectural landmark. Nineveh was the capital of which ancient empire? Assyrian. Nineveh served as the powerful capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire for much of its later history. Located on the eastern bank of the Tigris River, it was one of the largest cities of its time, renowned for its extensive libraries and impressive architecture. Who defeated the Spartans and their allies at Thermopylae in 480 BC? Persians. The Persians, under the command of King Xerxes I, defeated the Spartan-led Greek forces at the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. Although a tactical victory for the Persians, the valiant stand of the 300 Spartans became a timeless symbol of heroic resistance. On a sailing ship, what are halyards and jayers? Rigging ropes. Halyards and jayers are essential types of ropes used in sailing ship rigging. Halyards are specifically employed for hoisting sails or flags, while jayers are heavier ropes used for hoisting the lower yards, crucial for manipulating the sails. What type of cat can exhibit classic, mackerel, spotted, or ticked patterns? Tabby cat. Tabby refers to a common coat pattern found in domestic cats, not a specific breed, characterized by distinct stripes, dots, lines, or swirling patterns, often with an M shape on the forehead. The four main types of tabby patterns are classic, mackerel, spotted, and ticked. What is the English name for the lake that Germans call Bodensee? Lake Constance. Lake Constance, known as Bodensee in German, is a large freshwater lake situated on the Rhine River at the northern foot of the Alps. It shares its borders with Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, making it a significant geographical feature in Central Europe. The U.S. city of Milwaukee stands on which lake? Michigan. Milwaukee is a major city in Wisconsin, located on the western shore of Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is one of the 5 Great Lakes of North America and is the only one located entirely within the United States. The Folketing is which country's parliament? Denmark. The Folketing is the unicameral national legislature of Denmark. It is the supreme legislative body responsible for passing laws, approving the budget, and overseeing the government. Which Asian country has the kip as its currency? Laos. The kip is the official currency of Laos, a Southeast Asian country. It is issued and regulated by the Bank of the Laos PDR. The Riksdag is which country's parliament? Sweden. The Riksdag is the national legislature and the supreme decision-making body of Sweden. It is a unicameral parliament with 349 members, responsible for legislation, budget approval, and government oversight. Who dedicated his Kreutzer Sonata to a violinist who refused to play it? Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven dedicated his violin sonata No. 9 in A major, opus 47, known as the Kreutzer Sonata, to the violinist Rodolphe Kreutzer. Kreutzer, however, never performed the piece, reportedly finding it too difficult and incomprehensible. In the world of economics, what do the initials CBI represent? Confederation of British Industry. The Confederation of British Industry (CBI) is a leading business organization in the United Kingdom that represents the interests of a wide range of companies. It acts as a key lobbying group, aiming to promote economic growth and competitive conditions for British businesses. Which chemical element takes its name from the Greek word for a shade of green? Chlorine. Chlorine, Cl, is a chemical element with atomic number 17, known for its distinctive greenish-yellow gas form. Its name is derived from the Greek word, chloros, meaning pale green or yellowish-green, directly referencing its color. Chlorine is crucial in water purification and is a disinfectant. To His Coy Mistress is the most famous work of which of the metaphysical poets? Andrew Marvell. To His Coy Mistress is a renowned lyric poem by Andrew Marvell, a prominent figure among the 17th century English metaphysical poets. The poem is celebrated for its intellectual wit, complex arguments, and exploration of themes such as the passage of time, mortality, and the urgency of love. Who composed the classical suite, Carnival of the Animals in 1886? Camille Saint-Saëns. Carnival of the Animals is a musical suite of 14 movements by the French composer Camille Saint-Saëns. Composed in 1886, it is one of his most popular works, often used in music education and known for its humorous musical depictions of various animals. What musical instrument was primarily played by the legendary jazz artist Count Basie? Piano, occasionally organ. Count Basie was an influential American jazz pianist, organist, bandleader, and composer. He was renowned for his minimalist piano style and for leading the Count Basie Orchestra, one of the most prominent big bands in the swing era. His innovative use of the piano helped define the sound of jazz. Who famously delivered the speech containing the phrase, "Most of our people have never had it so good"? Harold Macmillan. Harold Macmillan, then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, made this statement in 1957. The quote reflected the economic prosperity and rising living standards in post-war Britain, becoming a defining remark of his premiership and the era. It is often cited in discussions of post-war British history and economic conditions. What significant household appliance was invented by Percy Spencer in 1946? The microwave oven. Percy Spencer, an American engineer, invented the microwave oven in 1946 while working for Raytheon. He noticed that microwaves from a radar set melted a chocolate bar in his pocket, leading to the development of this revolutionary cooking device. The first commercial microwave oven, the Radaronge, was introduced in 1947. What scientific process describes the absorption of liquid by plants through their roots? Osmosis. Osmosis is the spontaneous net movement of solvent molecules through a selectively permeable membrane into a region of higher solute concentration, aiming to equalize the solute concentrations on the two sides. In plants, it is a crucial process for water uptake by roots from the soil and its transport throughout the plant. Who held the position of British Chancellor of the Exchequer at the beginning of the 21st century? Gordon Brown. Gordon Brown served as the Chancellor of the Exchequer from 1997 to 2007 under Prime Minister Tony Blair. He was a dominant figure in British politics at the turn of the century, overseeing a period of sustained economic growth and implementing significant public finance reforms. He later became Prime Minister himself. Who was the next leader of the Soviet Union after Khrushchev? Leonid Brezhnev. Leonid Brezhnev succeeded Nikita Khrushchev as General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in 1964. His era, known as the Brezhnev stagnation, lasted until his death in 1982, marked by political stability and economic stagnation. Who invented the seed drill in 1701? Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull, an English agricultural pioneer, invented the seed drill in 1701. This invention was crucial during the British Agricultural Revolution, significantly improving farming efficiency by planting seeds in neat rows and at proper depths. The President of the USA fired General MacArthur in April. Who was the President? Harry Truman. President Harry Truman famously relieved General Douglas MacArthur of command during the Korean War in April 1951 due to insubordination. MacArthur had publicly advocated for expanding the war into China, contrary to Truman's policy of limiting the conflict. In December, which former Italian colony declared independence in Africa? Libya. Libya, a former Italian colony, declared its independence on December 24, 1951, becoming the United Kingdom of Libya under King Idris. This event marked a significant milestone in the post-World War II decolonization of Africa. In which river was Jesus baptized by John the Baptist? Jordan. The Jordan River is a significant geographical and historical landmark, particularly in Abrahamic religions. It is famously mentioned in the Bible as the location where Jesus Christ was baptized by John the Baptist, an event central to Christian theology. The river flows through a rift valley, separating Jordan from the West Bank and Israel. Who was the father of James and John, and the probable husband of Salome? Zebedee. Zebedee is a figure from the New Testament, identified as the father of James and John, two of Jesus' 12 apostles. His sons were often referred to as the sons of Zebedee. He was a fisherman, along with his sons, before they left their nets to follow Jesus. In Luke chapter 15, the fatted calf is killed to celebrate what? Prodigal son's return. The parable of the prodigal son is one of the most famous parables told by Jesus, found in the Gospel of Luke chapter 15. The fatted calf is slaughtered to celebrate the return of the younger son, who had squandered his inheritance, symbolizing repentance and God's unconditional forgiveness. The parable highlights themes of mercy, forgiveness, and reconciliation. What word can mean a temper tantrum or a piece of leather used in a barber shop? Strop. The word, strop, has multiple meanings. It can refer to a fit of ill temper or a tantrum. Additionally, in the context of barbering, a strop is a strip of leather or canvas used to sharpen or hone a razor by rubbing it against the surface, maintaining its edge. What is the more scientific name for the breastbone? Sternum. In human anatomy, the sternum is the scientific term for the breastbone. It is a long, flat bone located in the central part of the chest, connecting the ribs via cartilage and forming the front of the rib cage. The sternum protects the heart and lungs from injury. What nationality was the noted astronomer Anders Celsius? Swedish. Anders Celsius was a Swedish astronomer, physicist, and mathematician. He is best known for proposing the centigrade temperature scale, which was later named the Celsius scale in his honor. Celsius's contributions to science include his work on mapping the Earth's shape and his observations of aurora borealis. Who was admitted to Parkland Memorial Hospital, Dallas, as patient 24740, white male? John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was admitted to Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, Texas, on November 22, 1963, after being shot during a motorcade. He was pronounced dead shortly after his arrival. This event marked a pivotal moment in American history, leading to extensive investigations and conspiracy theories surrounding his assassination. What term describes an area of open water separated from the open sea by a coral reef or barrier island? Lagoon. A lagoon is a shallow body of water separated from a larger body of water, like the ocean, by a barrier island, coral reef, or other natural features. They are often less saline than the open ocean and can be important ecosystems, providing unique habitats for marine life. While carats measure the purity of gold, what unit of measurement is used for pearls? Grains. The weight of pearls is traditionally measured in grains, with 1 grain being equal to 0.25 carats or 0.05 grams. This system reflects the historical importance of pearls as valuable commodities and highlights the distinct measurement standards for different precious materials. In heraldry, what is the term used to describe the color red? Gules. Gules is the heraldic tincture for red, one of the 5 primary colors used in coats of arms and other heraldic designs. Along with azure, blue, sable, black, vert, green, and purple, gules is fundamental to the visual language of heraldry, which conveys identity and lineage through symbolic representation. In science, what term describes a chemical reaction or process that absorbs heat from its surroundings? Endothermic. An endothermic reaction is a process that takes in heat energy from its environment, causing the surroundings to cool down. This is in contrast to an exothermic reaction, which releases heat energy. Examples include the melting of ice or the photosynthesis process. Who composed the renowned opera, Peter Grimes? Benjamin Britten. Benjamin Britten, a prominent British composer, premiered his opera, Peter Grimes, in 1945. It is considered one of the most important English operas of the 20th century, exploring themes of social alienation and justice, and significantly contributed to the revival of English opera. Trichology is the study of what? Hair. Trichology is the branch of dermatology that focuses on the scientific study of the hair and scalp. It investigates the anatomy, growth, and diseases of hair, addressing conditions like hair loss, scalp disorders, and hair shaft abnormalities. Which famous art collection was started by the 4th Marquess of Hertford? Wallace Collection. The Wallace Collection is a renowned national museum in London, featuring fine and decorative arts from the 15th to the 19th centuries. It was primarily assembled by Richard Seymour Conway, 4th Marquess of Hertford, and later bequeathed to the British nation by his illegitimate son, Sir Richard Wallace, in 1897. Which country was once known as Portuguese West Africa? Angola. Angola, officially the Republic of Angola, was historically known as Portuguese West Africa during its colonial period under Portugal. It achieved independence in 1975, concluding nearly 500 years of Portuguese rule and marking a significant event in decolonization. What is a synonym for a rich tapestry or wall hanging? Arras. An arras is a rich tapestry, often woven with elaborate figures or designs, primarily used as a wall hanging. The term derives its name from the city of Arras in northern France, which was a prominent center for tapestry weaving during the Middle Ages. In which country is chicken frequently served in a chocolate sauce? Mexico. The dish referred to is likely mole poblano, a traditional Mexican sauce often served with poultry. It's a complex sauce made with a variety of ingredients, including chili peppers, spices, nuts, and a touch of chocolate, showcasing the rich culinary heritage of Mexico. In 1978, who was assassinated by a poisoned umbrella tip on a London street? Georgy Markov. Georgy Markov was a Bulgarian dissident writer and journalist who was assassinated in London in 1978 by agents of the Bulgarian Secret Police, DS. This infamous Cold War assassination involved a poisoned ricin pellet fired from a modified umbrella, highlighting the extreme measures taken against perceived enemies of the state. What one-word name is given to the Russian dish of stuffed pancakes? Bling. Bling are thin pancakes or crepes, a staple of traditional Russian cuisine, often served with various toppings like sour cream, jam, or caviar. They are historically associated with Maslenitsa, Butter Week, a Slavic holiday celebrating the end of winter. What name is given to the Irish dish of potato and cabbage, sometimes served as a stew? Colcannon. Colcannon is a traditional Irish dish primarily made from mashed potatoes with cabbage or caille. Often seasoned with butter, milk, and onions, it is a hearty and popular dish, especially associated with Halloween in Ireland. In which event did Nero participate in the ancient Olympics, circa at 60? Chariot racing. Emperor Nero was known for his passion for spectacles and participated in the Olympic Games in AD 67. He famously declared himself winner of all events, particularly chariot racing, often through questionable means such as bribing officials or intimidating competitors. In which country is the Patagonian Desert? Argentina. The Patagonian Desert, also known as the Patagonian Steppe, is the largest desert in Argentina and the 8th largest desert in the world by area. It is primarily located in Argentina, with small parts extending into Chile, characterized by cold, dry winds and vast, barren landscapes. France signed the Treaty of Luneville with which continental European power? Austria. The Treaty of Luneville, signed in 1801, formally concluded the War of the Second Coalition between France and Austria. It largely reaffirmed the Treaty of Campo Formio and further cemented France's territorial gains in Italy and its influence within the Holy Roman Empire. Which was King Arthur's last battle, where he either died or was fatally wounded? Camlan. The Battle of Camlan is a legendary final battle of King Arthur, as recounted in medieval Welsh and later English texts. Though its historicity is debated, it is traditionally depicted as the place where Arthur fought his final duel, possibly with Mordred, and received his mortal wound. Also known as Ananaria, in Roman mythology, who was the personification of luck? Fortuna. In Roman mythology, Fortuna was the goddess of fortune and the personification of luck, both good and bad. She was often depicted veiled and blind, holding a cornucopia, horn of plenty, and a rudder, symbolizing her control over destiny and the distribution of blessings. Which famous pilot, nicknamed Dog's Body, was a prisoner in Colditz towards the end of World War II? Douglas Bader. Douglas Bader was a British Royal Air Force pilot who lost both his legs in a flying accident but returned to operational duty during World War II. He was shot down and captured in 1941, becoming a prisoner of war in Colditz Castle, a high-security German POW camp for officers who had repeatedly attempted to escape. He is renowned for his perseverance and leadership. Which German flying ace lent his name to two classic aerial combat maneuvers involving turns? Max Immelmann. Max Immelmann was a German flying ace in World War I, one of the first German fighter pilots. He is credited with developing and perfecting the Immelmann turn, an aerial combat maneuver used to quickly reverse direction and gain altitude, a fundamental skill in dogfighting. In which county is Clacton-on-Sea located? Essex. Clacton-on-Sea is a seaside town in the Tendring district of Essex, England. It is a popular holiday destination known for its pier, beaches, and various entertainment options. In which county are Hales Abbey, Sudeley Castle, and Berkeley Castle situated? Gloucestershire. Hales Abbey, Sudeley Castle, and Berkeley Castle are all significant historical sites located within the county of Gloucestershire, England. Hales Abbey is a ruined Cistercian abbey, Sudeley Castle has royal connections spanning over 1,000 years, and Berkeley Castle is a medieval castle dating back to the 11th century, famous for its role in English history. Which sea in the world is unique for having no land boundaries or shoreline, but is characterized by an abundance of seaweed? Sargasso Sea. The Sargasso Sea is a distinct region within the Atlantic Ocean, bounded by ocean currents rather than land masses. It is notable for its vast quantities of sargassum seaweed, which floats on its surface, creating a unique marine ecosystem. This sea plays a crucial role in the life cycle of various marine species, including eels. In which country is the Negev Desert located? Israel. The Negev Desert is a vast desert and semi-desert region in southern Israel. It covers more than half of Israel's total land area and is known for its unique geological formations, wadis, and ancient archaeological sites. Which popular, free computer operating system owes its existence to Linus Torvalds? Linux. Linux is a family of open-source Unix-like operating systems based on the Linux kernel, first released by Linus Torvalds in 1991. It is widely used for servers, mainframes, embedded systems, and increasingly for desktop computing and mobile devices, e.g., Android. What ingredient makes black pudding black? Congealed blood. Black pudding is a type of blood sausage made from pork or beef blood, along with fat and cereal. The distinctive dark color is primarily due to the presence of congealed blood, which also contributes to its unique flavor and texture. In which landlocked Asian country did the gerbil originate? Mongolia. Gerbils, particularly the Mongolian gerbil, Merivans ungiculatus, are native to the semi-desert regions of Mongolia and parts of northern China. They are popular pets known for their social behavior and adaptations to arid environments. Whose music looms large in the novel, A Clockwork Orange, and its film adaptation? Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven's music, especially his Ninth Symphony, is central to Anthony Burgess's novel, A Clockwork Orange, and Stanley Kubrick's film adaptation. The protagonist, Alex, has a profound and often violent appreciation for classical music, which underscores themes of free will and the human response to art. In 1643, Evangelista Torricelli invented the world's first what? Barometer. Evangelista Torricelli, an Italian physicist and mathematician, is credited with inventing the mercury barometer in 1643. This invention provided the first scientific instrument for measuring atmospheric pressure, paving the way for advancements in meteorology and physics. Who invented the first safety razor in 1895? King C. Gillette. King C. Gillette invented the modern safety razor with disposable blades in 1895, patenting it in 1904. This innovation revolutionized personal grooming, making shaving safer and more accessible to the general public. What is the capital city of Sicily? Palermo. Palermo is the capital city of Sicily, an autonomous region of Italy. Located on the northwestern coast of the island, it is a major port and cultural center with a rich history influenced by various civilizations. What is the state capital of New Jersey? Trenton. Trenton is the capital city of the U.S. state of New Jersey. Situated along the Delaware River, it played a significant role in American history, notably as the site of the Battle of Trenton during the Revolutionary War. Whom did a jealous Athena turn into a spider? Arachne. In Greek mythology, Arachne was a mortal weaver who boasted her skill was superior to that of the goddess Athena. In a weaving contest, Athena became enraged by Arachne's flawless tapestry depicting the god's misdeeds and transformed her into the first spider, condemned to weave forever. Who was the beautiful sister of the twins Castor and Pollux and mother to Hermione? Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy, also known as Helen of Sparta, was a legendary figure in Greek mythology, renowned for her unparalleled beauty. She was the daughter of Zeus and Leda, and sister to Castor and Pollux, whose abduction by Paris ignited the Trojan War. Jocasta was the wife of Laius and the mother of which other famous individual? Oedipus. In Greek mythology, Jocasta was the wife of King Laius of Thebes and mother of Oedipus. Unknowing of his parentage, Oedipus famously killed his father and married his mother, fulfilling a prophecy and leading to tragic events. The title of whose most renowned book translates into English as My Struggle. Adolf Hitler. Mein Kampf, My Struggle, is a 1925 autobiographical manifesto by Adolf Hitler. It outlines his political ideology and future plans for Germany, becoming a foundational text for Nazism and a key historical document of the 20th century. Agrippina the Younger married her uncle and is believed to have later orchestrated his poisoning. Which Roman emperor was he? Claudius. Agrippina the Younger, mother of Emperor Nero, married her uncle Claudius, the fourth Roman emperor. Historical accounts suggest she poisoned him to secure the succession for her son Nero, further consolidating her own power and influence in the Roman Empire. Apart from Agatha Christie, who is considered the most widely translated English author? William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is universally acknowledged as one of the greatest writers in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. His works have been translated into numerous languages, making him, alongside Agatha Christie, among the most widely translated authors globally. Who was the author of the influential satirical novel, Gulliver's Travels? Jonathan Swift. Jonathan Swift, an Anglo-Irish satirist, essayist, and poet, authored Gulliver's Travels in 1726. The novel is a masterpiece of satire, blending adventure with a critique of human nature, politics, and society, making it a significant work in English literature. Who authored the acclaimed literary works, Billy Budd and Moby Dick? Herman Melville. Herman Melville was an American novelist, short story writer, and poet, best known for his masterpiece, Moby Dick, 1851, a complex allegory exploring themes of obsession and humanity's relationship with nature. Billy Budd, Sailor, published posthumously, is another significant work exploring justice and morality. Who was initially known as the Queen of the Blues and later acclaimed as the Empress of the Blues? Bessie Smith. Bessie Smith was an influential American blues singer, a pivotal figure in the development of jazz and blues music. Her powerful voice and emotional delivery earned her the title, Empress of the Blues, making her one of the highest-paid African American performers of the 1920s. Who composed the music for James Thomson's patriotic poem, Rule, Britannia? Thomas Arne. Thomas Arne was an English composer of the 18th century, renowned for his operas and stage music. He is best known for setting Rule, Britannia to music in 1740, a piece that has since become an iconic symbol of British national pride and naval power. Which prominent London-based exchange, now located at 38 St. Mary Axe, originated in a coffee house in 1744? Baltic Exchange. The Baltic Exchange is a global marketplace for the freight and shipping industry. Founded in 1744 in a London coffee house, it facilitates the trade of freight contracts and provides market information for seaborne commodities. It plays a crucial role in global shipping and commodities trading. Which book would be the first in an alphabetically arranged list of the Old Testament books? Amos. Amos is one of the 12 minor prophets in the Old Testament, known for his prophetic messages of social justice and righteousness. When arranged alphabetically, it would precede other books like Chronicles or Daniel. Which book would be the last in an alphabetically arranged list of the Old Testament books? Zephaniah. Zephaniah is another of the 12 minor prophets in the Old Testament, delivering prophecies concerning the day of the Lord and the restoration of Israel. Alphabetical ordering places it at the very end among the Old Testament books. By what more common name is Leonardo da Vinci's painting, La Gioconda, famously known? Mona Lisa. La Gioconda is the original Italian title for Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, Mona Lisa. Painted during the Renaissance, it is one of the most iconic and frequently visited artworks in the world, renowned for its enigmatic smile and artistic innovation. Between 1901 and 1904, which painter's career was described as his blue period? Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso's blue period, 1901 to 1904, was characterized by melancholic paintings in shades of blue and blue-green, reflecting themes of poverty, despair, and isolation. This period followed the suicide of his friend Carl Casagemas and significantly shaped his early artistic development. Which 17th-century Dutch painter did the forger Hans van Meegeren most often copy? Jan Vermeer. Hans van Meegeren was a notorious Dutch forger who specialized in creating new works by old masters, particularly Johannes Vermeer. His forgeries were so convincing that they deceived many art experts and collectors, including during World War II when he sold a Vermeer to Hermann Göring. Which psychological response is seen in the way some hostages react to their captors? Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological phenomenon where hostages express empathy, sympathy, and positive feelings toward their captors, sometimes to the point of defending them. This emotional bond can develop over time due to the extreme stress and power imbalance inherent in a hostage situation. Which order in the class Insecta includes butterflies, skippers, and moths? Lepidoptera. Lepidoptera is a large order of insects that includes butterflies, moths, and skippers, characterized by their scaly wings. These insects undergo complete metamorphosis, transitioning through egg, larva, caterpillar, pupa, and adult stages, and play crucial roles in pollination. Broccoli belongs to which family of plants? Brassica. Broccoli is a member of the Brassica family, also known as the mustard family or Brassicaceae. This family includes many common vegetables such as cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts, all of which are cultivars of the species Brassica oleracea. What one-word name is used as an alternative for the creature also called snow leopard? Ounce. The snow leopard, a large cat native to the mountain ranges of Central and South Asia, is sometimes referred to by the alternative name, ounce. This term is derived from the Old French word, lance, which originally referred to a lynx, and eventually became associated with this elusive big cat. The raccoon is noted for doing what with its food before eating it? Douse or wash. Raccoons are known for their distinctive habit of washing their food, particularly in water, before consuming it. While often perceived as cleaning, this behavior is more accurately described as dousing or manipulating food in water, which helps to soften it and enhances tactile examination for the raccoon, whose front paws are highly sensitive. Which animal can be found in a shallow depression or flattened grass nest called a form? Hare. A form is the characteristic shallow, scraped-out hollow or nest used by hares for shelter and resting. It provides camouflage and protection from predators, often found in open fields or under vegetation, allowing the hare to remain hidden. Which festival in the Western Christian Church lent its name to a bay and city in southwest Texas? Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi, meaning body of Christ, in Latin, is a Roman Catholic liturgical feast celebrating the real presence of the body and blood of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. The city and bay in Texas were named after this festival by Spanish explorer Alonso Álvarez de Pineda in 1519, as he discovered the bay on that feast day. Cleopatra's first husband was also her brother. What was his name? Ptolemy Dionysius. Cleopatra VII, the last active pharaoh of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, married her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII Theos Philopator, also known as Ptolemy Dionysius, in accordance with Egyptian royal custom. This dynastic marriage was common among the Ptolemies to maintain royal bloodlines and solidify their claim to power. Which two first names have been most commonly shared by the kings of Portugal throughout its history? John or Alphonse. The names John, João, and Alphonse, Afonso, are indeed the most frequently recurring first names among Portuguese monarchs. This reflects a tradition of dynastic naming, where popular royal names were passed down through generations to emphasize continuity and legitimacy within the ruling houses. Who was the famous mother of politician Shirley Williams? Vera Brittain. Vera Brittain was a celebrated English writer, feminist, and pacifist, best known for her powerful memoir, Testament of Youth, which chronicled her experiences during World War I. Her daughter, Shirley Williams, followed in her footsteps as a public figure, becoming a distinguished British politician and a co-founder of the Social Democratic Party, SDP. What was the name of William Wordsworth's sister? Dorothy. Dorothy Wordsworth was an English author, poet, and diarist, best known as the beloved sister of the celebrated Romantic poet William Wordsworth. Her detailed journals and acute observations of nature significantly influenced her brother's poetic output and provided valuable insights into their lives and the literary period. The Giant's Causeway and the nearby Bushmills, famed for its distillery, are located in which county? Antrim. The Giant's Causeway, a UNESCO World Heritage Site renowned for its unique interlocking basalt columns, and Bushmills, home to one of the world's oldest licensed whiskey distilleries, are both situated in County Antrim, Northern Ireland. This region is celebrated for its striking natural landscapes, rich history, and cultural heritage. Which Yorkshire city features two distinct city centre railway stations, Kirkgate and Westgate? Wakefield. Wakefield, a city in West Yorkshire, England, is notable for having two separate city centre railway stations, Wakefield Kirkgate and Wakefield Westgate. Westgate primarily serves high-speed intercity routes, offering direct links to major cities, while Kirkgate handles local and regional services, reflecting the city's important role as a transport hub. Which two European flags are square in shape? Switzerland and Vatican City. The national flags of Switzerland and Vatican City are unique among sovereign states for their square aspect ratio. Most national flags typically have a rectangular shape, making these two exceptions notable in vexillology. With a population of approximately 240 million, which country's flag consists of two horizontal bands, red over white? Indonesia. The flag of Indonesia, known as Sang Saka Merah Putih, is a simple bicolor with two horizontal bands, red on top and white on the bottom. Red symbolizes courage and white purity, and Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country. Built in 1776, what was the name of the first submarine used for military purposes? Turtle. The Turtle was the first submarine used in combat, designed by David Bushnell during the American Revolutionary War. This hand-powered, egg-shaped vessel was intended to attach explosives to British warships. On what type of material was the Mona Lisa painted? Poplar wood. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, one of the world's most famous paintings, was rendered on a panel of poplar wood. This choice of support was common for artworks during the Renaissance period in Italy. Which animal forms the body of the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt? Lion. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a mythical creature with the head of a human and the body of a lion. Carved from a single massive limestone outcrop, it is one of the oldest and largest monumental sculptures in the world. To which religion does the famous Lotus Temple, situated in New Delhi, belong? Baha'i faith. The Lotus Temple, a prominent architectural landmark in New Delhi, is a Baha'i house of worship. Its lotus-like design is open to adherents of all faiths, reflecting the Baha'i principle of unity of religions. According to Samuel Taylor Coleridge, in which mythical location did Kubla Khan command his pleasure dome to be built? Xanadu. Kubla Khan is a famous unfinished poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, published in 1816. It describes the construction of a magnificent palace by the Mongol ruler Kublai Khan in Xanadu, a legendary, exotic and idyllic place. The poem is renowned for its vivid imagery and dreamlike quality. What is the minimum number of identical smaller cubes required to construct a larger cube? 8. To form a larger cube, each dimension, length, width, height, must be composed of at least 2 smaller cubes. This means a 2 by 2 x 2 arrangement, which requires 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8 smaller cubes. This is a fundamental concept in spatial reasoning and geometry. For what profession did Mahatma Gandhi receive his formal training? Lawyer. Mahatma Gandhi trained as a barrister at the Inner Temple, London, from 1888 to 1891. His legal education and early experiences as a lawyer in South Africa significantly shaped his philosophy of nonviolent resistance and civil disobedience. This professional background was foundational to his later role as a leader of India's independence movement. Which African nation was ruled by Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings from 1981 to 2001? Ghana. Jerry John Rawlings was a Ghanaian military officer and politician who twice served as Ghana's head of state. He led a military junta until 1992, then served 2 terms as the democratically elected president of Ghana from 1993 to 2001. His period of rule saw significant political and economic reforms in Ghana. Who reigned as King of Scotland from 1040 to 1057? Macbeth. Macbeth Mac Findleach, often known simply as Macbeth, was King of Scots from 1040 until his death in 1057. While famously dramatized by Shakespeare, the historical Macbeth was a successful military leader who ruled Scotland for 17 years before being overthrown and killed by Malcolm Canmore, the son of King Duncan I. Who authored the 1924 adventure novel, Beauregard? P.C. Wren. Beauregard is a renowned adventure novel by P.C. Wren, first published in 1924. It tells the story of 3 English brothers who join the French Foreign Legion to escape a family scandal. The novel is celebrated for its gripping narrative, themes of loyalty and honor, and vivid depiction of life in the Legion. Which Scottish loch is closely associated with kippers? Loch Fyne. Loch Fyne is Scotland's longest sea loch, located in Argyll and Bute. It is particularly renowned for its seafood, especially oysters and kippers, which are traditionally smoked herring. The loch's pristine waters contribute significantly to the quality of its marine produce. Which resort town is known as the Gateway to the Isles? Oban. Oban is a major port and resort town situated in Argyll and Bute, Scotland. It functions as a critical ferry terminal connecting to the Inner and Outer Hebrides, hence its moniker, the Gateway to the Isles. The town is also famous for its distillery and picturesque horseshoe-shaped bay. Who wrote the poem, The Village Blacksmith, in 1840? Henry W. Longfellow. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, a prominent American poet, penned The Village Blacksmith in 1840. This poem, which celebrates hard work, honest living, and community values, remains one of his most popular and frequently anthologized literary works. The Women's Institute was founded in which country? Canada. The Women's Institute movement originated in Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, in 1897. It was established to provide educational and social support for rural women, focusing on domestic science, health, and community development. The organization subsequently expanded globally, becoming a significant international women's association. After the assassination of Rasputin, into which river was his body thrown? Neva River. Grigory Rasputin, an influential mystic in the late Russian imperial court, was assassinated in December 1916. Following his death, his body was discovered in the Neva River in St. Petersburg, a significant event preceding the Russian Revolution. In the metric system, what factor does the unit prefix, mega, denote? A million, 10 to the power of 6. In the International System of Units, SI, the prefix, mega, symbol m, is used to denote a factor of 10 to the power of 6, or 1 million. This prefix is commonly applied in various scientific and engineering contexts, such as megahertz for frequency or megabytes for data storage. In which city were the 1988 Summer Olympic Games held? Seoul. The 1988 Summer Olympics, officially known as the Games of the 24th Olympiad, were hosted by Seoul, South Korea. This international multi-sport event was significant for South Korea, highlighting its economic development and global integration. If an individual is suffering from myalgia, which part or parts of their body are affected? Muscles. Myalgia is the medical term used to describe muscle pain, characterized by aches and discomfort in one or more muscles. It can arise from various causes, including injury, overuse, infection, or as a symptom of systemic diseases. Which bird species undertakes the longest migratory journey annually? Arctic tern. The Arctic tern, Sterna paradisea, is renowned for undertaking the longest migratory journey of any bird species, traveling approximately 70,900 kilometers, 44,000 miles, annually. It migrates from its Arctic breeding grounds to the Antarctic and back, effectively experiencing 2 summers each year. What creatures are colloquially known as jaspers in parts of England? Wasps. Wasps are stinging insects known for their slender bodies and often yellow and black markings. The colloquial term jaspers for wasps is a regional dialect in certain parts of England, reflecting local linguistic variations and cultural nuances. What Italian dish is made with fried beaten eggs, resembling a Spanish omelette? Frittata. A frittata is an Italian egg-based dish, similar to an omelette or quiche, cooked in a pan and often enriched with various ingredients like cheese, vegetables, or meat. It is traditionally started on the stovetop and then finished in the oven or under a grill, making it a versatile meal. What sort of creature is the water moccasin? Snake. The water moccasin, also known as the cottonmouth, is a venomous pit viper species found predominantly in the southeastern United States. It is a semi-aquatic snake, often inhabiting swamps, marshes, and slow-moving streams, and is recognizable by its defensive display of a white-lined mouth. Which of Henry VIII's wives had twice been widowed when they married? Catherine Parr. Catherine Parr was the sixth and final wife of King Henry VIII. She had been widowed twice before marrying the king, first to Edward Burr and then to John Neville, 3rd Baron Latimer. She is known for her intellect, reformist religious views, and her role in reconciling Henry with his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth. What is the full name of the Statue of Liberty? Liberty Enlightening the World. The Statue of Liberty's full name is Liberty Enlightening the World. It was a gift from the people of France to the United States and is a universal symbol of freedom and democracy, located on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. In 2002, the statue of whom was given its first wash since 1873 at its Florence gallery? David. Michelangelo's David, a masterpiece of Renaissance sculpture, depicts the biblical hero David. The monumental marble statue was cleaned in 2002, marking its first comprehensive restoration since the 19th century, revealing original details and colors hidden by centuries of grime. Which Japanese island is missing from the list? Kyushu, Shikoku, Honshu, and ______? Hokkaido. Hokkaido is the second largest island of Japan and its northernmost prefecture. Along with Honshu, Kyushu, and Shikoku, it is one of the 4 main islands that constitute the Japanese archipelago, known for its rugged landscapes, volcanoes, and hot springs. Which North Wales town features a courthouse built in 1614, a historic castle, and a disused jail? Beaumaris. Beaumaris is a historic town on the Isle of Anglesey, North Wales, renowned for its medieval Beaumaris Castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The town's preserved courthouse, dating back to 1614, and former jail reflect its long and significant judicial history. Which planet requires approximately 11.86 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun? Jupiter. Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, is a gas giant known for its distinct atmospheric bands and the Great Red Spot. Its orbital period of nearly 12 Earth years is a key characteristic that defines its long journey around the Sun. What is the common name for a deciduous tree belonging to the genus Betula? Birch. Birch trees are deciduous hardwood trees of the genus Betula, recognized for their distinctive papery bark and slender branches. They are commonly found in temperate climates and are valued for their wood, sap, and aesthetic appeal in various ecosystems. In which part of the human body are the carpal bones located? Wrist. The carpal bones are a group of 8 small, irregularly shaped bones that form the carpus, or wrist, connecting the forearm to the hand. They are arranged in 2 rows and play a crucial role in enabling the complex movements and flexibility of the hand. Which composition by Ralph Vaughan Williams was voted the United Kingdom's favorite in a 2014 Classic FM poll? The Lark Ascending. Ralph Vaughan Williams' The Lark Ascending is an iconic piece of classical music, originally composed for violin and piano, later orchestrated. This work is celebrated for its evocative and ethereal qualities, beautifully portraying the flight of a skylark and the English pastoral landscape. Which numbered symphony by Beethoven features Ode to Joy in its concluding movement? 9th. Ludwig van Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, completed in 1824, is a monumental work in classical music, widely regarded as one of his greatest compositions. Its groundbreaking final movement, featuring a full chorus and vocal soloists performing Friedrich Schiller's Ode to Joy, marked a revolutionary step in symphonic form. What was the first name of the German composer of? Karl. Karl Orff was a prominent German composer and educator, most famously known for his secular cantata, Carmina Burana. Beyond his compositions, Orff developed an influential music education methodology, the Orff Schulwerk, which emphasizes rhythm, movement, and improvisation. What significant national event in the UK first occurred on the night of November 19, 1994? National Lottery Draw. The first ever UK National Lottery draw on November 19, 1994, was a landmark event that introduced a new era of fundraising for good causes across the United Kingdom. Since its inception, the National Lottery has generated billions of pounds for projects in arts, heritage, sport, and charity. Which state of the USA lies between South Carolina and Florida? Georgia. Georgia is one of the southeastern states of the United States. Its geographical position is bordered by South Carolina to the northeast and Florida to the south, making it a key state in the region. Which English town or city lies on the rivers Eden, Caldew, and Petteril? Carlisle. Carlisle, a historic city in Cumbria, England, is strategically located at the confluence of three rivers, the Eden, the Caldew, and the Petteril. This geographical feature has historically contributed to its development and defense. In 1066, on which hill did Harold deploy his troops for the Battle of Hastings? Senlac Hill. The Battle of Hastings in 1066 was a pivotal event in English history. King Harold Godwinson positioned his English forces on Senlac Hill, near the present-day town of Battle, East Sussex, facing the invading Norman army led by William the Conqueror. Which resort pier was badly damaged by fire on July 30? Eastbourne. Eastbourne Pier, a Grade II listed structure in Eastbourne, East Sussex, England, has faced various challenges, including significant damage from a fire on July 30, 2014. Such incidents highlight the historical and cultural significance of these Victorian-era seaside attractions. What is the primary function of red blood cells? To transport oxygen. Red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes, contain hemoglobin, a protein responsible for binding and transporting oxygen from the lungs to various tissues throughout the body. This vital function ensures that cells receive the necessary oxygen for cellular respiration and metabolic processes. What is the term for the dwelling of an otter? A holt. An otter's den or dwelling is called a holt, often constructed in river banks, among tree roots, or in rock crevices near water sources. These holts provide shelter, protection from predators, and a secure place for otters to raise their young. What is the chemical formula for calcium chloride? Calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, is an ionic compound formed from one calcium ion, Ca2+, and two chloride ions, Cl. It is widely used as a desiccant, other icing agent, and in food preservation due to its hygroscopic properties, meaning it readily absorbs moisture. From which colonial power did Madagascar achieve independence in 1960? France. Madagascar gained its full independence from France on June 26, 1960, after having been a French protectorate and then a colony since the late 19th century. This event was a significant part of the broader decolonization movement in Africa during the mid-20th century. Which term, commonly used in drug testing, is derived from the Latin phrase meaning, "I shall please"? Placebo. A placebo is an inert substance or treatment designed to have no pharmacological effect, used as a control in drug trials. It helps researchers differentiate between the drug's actual effects and the psychological impact of receiving treatment, known as the placebo effect. What is the medical term for a type of cancer that originates from the melanocyte cells of the skin? Malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma is a serious form of skin cancer that develops when melanocytes, the cells that produce melanin, the pigment that gives skin its color, grow uncontrollably. It is one of the most dangerous forms of skin cancer due to its potential to spread rapidly to other parts of the body if not detected and treated early. Which historic Derbyshire building is renowned for being more glass than wall? Hardwork Hall. Hardwick Hall is a significant Elizabethan country house in Derbyshire, England, famous for its innovative architecture designed by Robert Smithson for Bess of Hardwick. Its distinctive design features large windows and extensive use of glass, giving rise to the saying, Hardwick Hall, more glass than wall, and making it a prominent example of Elizabethan prodigy houses. Who resigned as UK Culture Secretary in April 2014 following a controversy over her expenses claims? Maria Miller. Maria Miller served as the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport in the UK from 2012 to 2014. She resigned from her post in April 2014 following a controversy regarding her parliamentary expenses claims. This event highlighted issues of accountability and public scrutiny of politicians' financial conduct. Which noted French writer lived in exile in the Channel Islands from 1855 to 1870? Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo, a celebrated French writer and poet, was exiled from France following Louis Napoleon Bonaparte's coup d'état in 1851. He spent many years in exile, primarily in the Channel Islands of Jersey and Guernsey, from 1855 to 1870. During this period, he produced some of his most significant works, including Les Miserables and Toilers of the Sea, becoming a vocal critic of the Second French Empire. The A in ALS stands for amyotrophic. What do L and S represent? Lateral sclerosis. ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. It causes loss of muscle control, leading to paralysis and ultimately death. The condition is often referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, named after the famous baseball player who was diagnosed with it. Which British general captured Quebec in 1759 but lost his life in the battle? James Wolfe. Major General James Wolfe led the British forces to victory in the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759, securing Quebec for the British during the 7 Years' War. Both Wolfe and the French commander, Marquis de Montcalm, were mortally wounded during this pivotal battle. Which Italian word, meaning little book, is applied to the text of an opera? Libretto. A libretto is the text used in, or intended for, an extended musical work such as an opera, oratorio, or cantata. The term libretto is an Italian diminutive of libro, book, literally meaning little book, reflecting its common form. Who was the serving president of the USA in 1976? Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford served as the 38th President of the United States from 1974 to 1977. He assumed the presidency after Richard Nixon's resignation and was in office during the nation's bicentennial celebrations in 1976. What two colors are present on the flag associated with the Islamic State, also known as ISIS? Black and white. The flag commonly associated with the Islamic State features a black background with a white Shahada, Islamic creed, at the top, and a white circle containing Allah Rasul Muhammad, Allah's Messenger Muhammad, at the bottom. This design is often referred to as the Black Standard, or Black Banner, historically linked to early Islamic prophecies. Market Drayton and Church Stretton are towns located in which English county? Shropshire. Shropshire is a landlocked county in the West Midlands region of England, bordering Wales. Market Drayton is known for its gingerbread, while Church Stretton is a popular tourist destination nestled in an area of outstanding natural beauty. Which pope was inaugurated in 1978? John Paul II. Pope John Paul II was inaugurated in October 1978, succeeding Pope John Paul I, who died unexpectedly after only 33 days in office. His pontificate was one of the longest in history, lasting over 26 years, and he played a significant role in world affairs, especially in the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe. What is the scientific study of fungi in all its forms called? Mycology. Mycology is the branch of biology dedicated to the study of fungi, including their genetic and biochemical properties, their taxonomy, and their uses and dangers to humans. This field is crucial for understanding ecosystems, developing new medicines, and managing plant diseases. What is the scientific study of wine and winemaking, including all its aspects, known as? Enology. Enology is the scientific discipline that focuses on all aspects of wine and winemaking, from the cultivation of grapes, viticulture, to the fermentation process, aging, and bottling. Enologists apply scientific principles to optimize wine quality and address challenges in production. What was the first name of Regency fashion icon Beau Brummel? George Brian Brummel, commonly known as Beau Brummel, was a pivotal figure in Regency England. He is credited with establishing the modern male suit and advocating for sartorial elegance based on understated refinement rather than ostentation, significantly influencing men's fashion. What is the fourth planet from the Sun in our solar system? Mars. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun and the second smallest planet in the solar system. Often referred to as the red planet, due to its iron oxide-rich surface, Mars has a thin atmosphere and two moons, Phobos and Deimos, and is a major focus for astrobiological research and human exploration. Who composed the Hungarian Rhapsodies? Franz Liszt. Franz Liszt was a Hungarian composer, virtuoso pianist, conductor, and teacher of the Romantic era. His Hungarian Rhapsodies are a set of 19 piano pieces based on Hungarian folk themes, renowned for their technical demands and nationalistic character. Geno is the Latin name for what part of the human body? The knee. Geno is the Latin anatomical term for the knee, which is a crucial hinge joint in the human body. It connects the thigh bone, femur, to the shin bone, tibia, and the kneecap, patella, enabling movement and supporting body weight. Which city hosted the 1964 Summer Olympics? Tokyo. Tokyo, Japan, hosted the Games of the 18th Olympiad in 1964, marking the first time the Olympic Games were held in Asia. This event was a significant milestone for Japan, showcasing its post-World War II recovery and modernization to a global audience. Who wrote the book, A Farewell to Arms? Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was an American novelist, short story writer, and journalist, and a prominent figure in 20th century literature. A Farewell to Arms, published in 1929, is a semi-autobiographical novel set during World War I, exploring themes of love, war, and loss through the eyes of an American ambulance driver on the Italian front. In which county is Luton located? Bedfordshire. Luton is a large town and unitary authority situated within the ceremonial county of Bedfordshire, England. Although it operates as a unitary authority, it remains geographically and historically part of Bedfordshire. Which Caribbean island country is named after day of the week? Dominica. Dominica is an island nation in the Lesser Antilles region of the Caribbean Sea. Its name is derived from dies Dominica, which is Latin for Sunday, as Christopher Columbus sighted the island on a Sunday in November 1493. Which European country's name translates to Black Mountain? Montenegro. Montenegro is a country in Southeast Europe. Its name, Crna Gora, in Montenegrin, literally means Black Mountain, a reference believed to describe the dark, dense forests that historically covered Mount Levgen and other peaks in the Dinaric Alps. Land of honest men is one of the meanings attributed to the name of which African country? Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a landlocked country in West Africa. The name, Burkina Faso, combines words from two major indigenous languages. Burkina, from Mossi, means men of integrity, or honest men, and Faso, from Diola, means fatherland. What was the real name of the pirate Blackbeard? Edward Teach. Edward Teach, famously known as Blackbeard, was an English pirate who operated around the West Indies and the eastern coast of Britain's North American colonies during the early 18th century. He is one of the most notorious figures in the history of piracy. Where did the failed US-backed landing in Cuba take place in 1961? The Bay of Pigs. The Bay of Pigs invasion was a failed landing operation on the southwestern coast of Cuba in 1961 by Cuban exiles who were covertly financed and directed by the US government. The objective was to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist government, but it resulted in a humiliating defeat for the US. Which famous play by William Shakespeare is set in Elsinore? Hamlet. William Shakespeare's tragic play, Hamlet, is primarily set in Elsinore Castle, Denmark. The castle serves as the central location for the unfolding drama of betrayal, revenge, and madness. Which English king was married to Henrietta Maria? Charles I. Charles I, King of England, Scotland, and Ireland, married Henrietta Maria of France in 1625. Their marriage was significant as Henrietta Maria's Catholic faith created tension in Protestant England and contributed to the religious and political conflicts of the era, ultimately leading to the English Civil War. On which island did chess champion Bobby Fischer end his days in exile? Iceland. Bobby Fischer, the American chess grandmaster and world chess champion, spent his final years in exile in Iceland. He was granted Icelandic citizenship in 2005, primarily due to legal troubles in the United States, and he died there in 2008. Which famous novelist was exiled to Jersey and then Guernsey? Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo, the renowned French novelist and poet, was exiled from France due to his political opposition to Napoleon III. He spent much of his exile on the Channel Islands, initially in Jersey and then for a longer period in Guernsey, where he wrote some of his most significant works, including Les Miserables. Who assumed the title of Richard IV, claiming to be the Duke of York? Perkin Warbeck. Perkin Warbeck was a pretender to the English throne during the reign of King Henry VII. He claimed to be Richard of Shrewsbury, Duke of York, one of the princes in the Tower, who was presumed murdered. His claim was a major challenge to the early Tudor monarchy. Which county is most associated with Jack Cade? Kent. Jack Cade's rebellion was a popular revolt in 1450 against the government of King Henry VI. The rebellion primarily took place in Kent and other parts of southeast England, with Cade leading discontented commoners and gentry demanding political reform. Which country ruled Burundi after Germany? Belgium. After World War I, the League of Nations mandated the territory of Rwanda-Urundi, which included modern-day Burundi, to Belgium. Germany had previously colonized the region as part of German East Africa. What is the state capital of Mississippi? Jackson. Jackson is the capital and most populous city in the U.S. state of Mississippi. It is located on the Pearl River and serves as a significant economic and cultural hub for the state. Who was the world's first Christian martyr? Saint Stephen. Saint Stephen is traditionally recognized as the proto-martyr, or first martyr, of Christianity. He was one of 7 deacons appointed by the apostles and was stoned to death, as described in the Acts of the Apostles. What type of creature is a mugger? Crocodile. The mugger crocodile, Crocodylus palustris, also known as the Mars crocodile, is a medium-sized broad-snout crocodile native to freshwater habitats throughout the Indian subcontinent and its neighboring countries. It is one of 3 crocodile species found in India. Who is the Greek goddess of the rainbow? Iris. In Greek mythology, Iris is the personification and goddess of the rainbow. She also serves as a messenger of the gods, particularly for Hera, connecting Olympus with the mortal world. What does the word Islam mean? Submission. The Arabic word Islam literally means submission to the will of God. It is derived from the root word salma, meaning peace, purity, submission, and obedience. This concept is central to the faith, emphasizing obedience to Allah. What zodiac animal traditionally represents the year in which the Chinese New Year recently occurred? The horse. The Chinese New Year is based on the lunar solar calendar, with each year associated with one of 12 zodiac animals in a repeating cycle. The Year of the Horse, for instance, is one such designation within this traditional calendar system, significant in Chinese culture and astrology. What chemical element is represented by the symbol Bi? Bismuth. Bi is the chemical symbol for bismuth, which is element number 83 on the periodic table. Bismuth is a post-transition metal known for its low toxicity and diamagnetic properties. It is often used in alloys, cosmetics, and as a replacement for lead in many applications. Which capital city is closest to London, excluding Cardiff? Brussels. Brussels, the capital of Belgium, is the closest major European capital city to London, UK. This geographical proximity highlights the historical and cultural ties between the UK and continental Europe. Who wrote the novel A Town Like Alice? Nevil Shute. Nevil Shute Norway, known by his pen name Nevil Shute, was a prominent English novelist and aeronautical engineer. Published in 1950, A Town Like Alice is one of his most celebrated works, detailing an English woman's wartime experiences in Malaya and post-war life in Australia. Which many-headed monster was slain by Hercules? The Hydra. In Greek and Roman mythology, the Lernaean Hydra was a formidable serpentine beast with multiple heads, some of which would regenerate or multiply upon being severed. Its defeat was one of the 12 legendary labors of Hercules, Heracles, requiring strategic thinking beyond brute force. If one consumed the fruit of a malice tree, what would it be? An apple. The genus, Malus, encompasses several species of small deciduous trees and shrubs, most notably the domesticated apple, Malus domestica. Apples are pome fruits, widely cultivated globally for their sweet or tart fruit. Spanish bayonet and Adam's needle are common names for types of which plant? The yucca. Spanish bayonet, Yucca aloifolia, and Adam's needle, Yucca filamentosa, are common names for species within the yucca genus. Yuccas are perennial shrubs and trees, native to the hot and arid regions of the Americas and the Caribbean, recognized for their tough, sword-shaped leaves. Who served as Adolf Hitler's private secretary from 1943 to 1945? Martin Bormann. Martin Bormann was a prominent Nazi official who rose through the ranks to become the head of the Nazi Party Chancellery and Adolf Hitler's private secretary. His proximity to Hitler during the final years of World War II gave him immense power and influence within the Nazi regime. Appointed in February 1942, who held the position of Minister for Armaments and War Production? Albert Speer. Albert Speer was a German architect who became Adolf Hitler's chief architect and later the Minister of Armaments and War Production for Nazi Germany during most of World War II. He was responsible for organizing and managing the wartime economy and the production of military equipment. Which admiral was instrumental in the restoration of the German Navy between 1939 and 1943? Grand Admiral Erich Raeder. Grand Admiral Erich Raeder was a German naval officer who played a significant role in the expansion of the Kriegsmarine, German Navy, in the years leading up to and during the early part of World War II. He served as Commander-in-Chief of the Kriegsmarine from 1935 until his resignation in 1943. Who authored the book series, The Little House on the Prairie? Laura Ingalls Wilder. Laura Ingalls Wilder was an American writer known for her classic children's book series, Little House on the Prairie. The books, based on her own childhood experiences, describe pioneer life in the American Midwest during the late 19th century. Who was displaced from power by Fidel Castro? Fulgencio Batista. Fulgencio Batista was the authoritarian leader of Cuba who was overthrown by Fidel Castro's 26th of July movement during the Cuban Revolution in 1959. This event marked a significant turning point in Cold War history, leading to the establishment of a communist government in Cuba. In which East European country did the 2006 Jeans Revolution take place? Belarus. The Jeans Revolution refers to a series of youth-led protests in Belarus following the disputed presidential election of 2006. Demonstrators used denim clothing as a symbol of opposition, reflecting popular discontent and calls for democratic reform against the authoritarian government. Which saint was born at Lourdes? Saint Bernadette Soubirous. Saint Bernadette Soubirous was a young French peasant girl who reported experiencing Marian apparitions in 1858 near Lourdes. Her visions led to the establishment of Lourdes as a major Catholic pilgrimage site, renowned for its miraculous healings and spiritual significance. Papworth is located in which county? Cambridgeshire. Papworth Everard, often referred to as Papworth, is a village and civil parish situated in Cambridgeshire, England. It is historically recognized for Papworth Hospital, a prominent cardiothoracic hospital that has since relocated from the village. The vegetable commonly known as chicory in some regions is called what in the USA? Endive. Chicory, Chichorium intybus, and endive, Chichorium endivia, are related leafy vegetables, but their common names can be a source of confusion. In the United States, endive often refers to the broad-leaved varieties of Chichorium endivia, while chicory might refer to the root used for coffee substitutes or other varieties of greens. Who authored the renowned children's book, Heidi, first published in 1880? Joanna Spyri. Joanna Spyri was a Swiss author best known for her novel, Heidi. This enduring children's classic, depicting the life of an orphan girl in the Swiss Alps, has been translated into numerous languages and adapted into various films and television series, making it a globally recognized work of literature. Known also as zinc blende, and primarily composed of zinc sulfide, what is the principal ore of zinc? Sphalerite. Sphalerite is the most important ore of zinc, chemically known as zinc sulfide, ZNS. It is typically found in various geological formations and is a primary source for extracting zinc metal, which has wide applications in galvanizing steel, battery production, and alloys. Which country's national flag features two stacked triangles? Nepal. The national flag of Nepal is distinctive for being the only non-quadrilateral national flag in the world. Its crimson base and blue border symbolize courage and peace, respectively, while the two triangles represent the Himalayas and also allude to the two major religions of Nepal, Hinduism and Buddhism. In 1988, who made history by becoming the first woman elected to head a Muslim-majority state? Benazir Bhutto. Benazir Bhutto served as the Prime Minister of Pakistan in 1988 and again in 1993, becoming the first woman to lead a democratic government in a Muslim-majority nation. Her election was a significant milestone in global politics, symbolizing progress in gender equality and democratic principles within the Islamic world. When formed in 1865, the Christian Mission was the original name of what organization? The Salvation Army. The Salvation Army is an international charitable organization, originally founded in 1865 in London by William Booth and his wife Catherine. It began as the East London Christian Mission, aimed at helping the poor and needy, before being renamed in 1878 to better reflect its evangelistic and social work. With which 1750 poem do you associate the village of Stoke Podgers, Buckinghamshire? Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard. Thomas Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard is a seminal poem of the 18th century, completed in 1750. The poem reflects on themes of death, memory, and the unfulfilled potential of common people, drawing inspiration from the rural churchyard in Stoke Podgers, Buckinghamshire. In which English town or city was a statue of Charles Dickens unveiled on February 7? Portsmouth. A statue of the renowned author Charles Dickens was unveiled in Portsmouth, his birthplace, on February 7, 2014. Dickens, known for classics like Oliver Twist and Great Expectations, was born in Portsmouth in 1812, making the city a significant location in his legacy. Which of the presidents depicted on the Mount Rushmore Memorial was the last to be born? Theodore Roosevelt. The Mount Rushmore National Memorial features the faces of four prominent U.S. presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Among these, Theodore Roosevelt was the last to be born, 1858, making him the most recent figure among the four memorialized leaders. What kind of creature is a hoopoe? A bird. A hoopoe, Apupa epops, is a distinctive medium-sized bird native to Afro-Eurasia, recognizable by its unique crown of feathers and long, slender, down-curved bill. It is the only extant member of the family Upupidae and is known for its insectivorous diet and characteristic call. By land area, what is the largest country in Central America? Nicaragua. Nicaragua is the largest country in Central America by land area. It borders Honduras to the north and Costa Rica to the south, with coastlines on both the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. What is the most densely populated country on the Central American subcontinent? El Salvador. El Salvador is the most densely populated country in mainland North and South America. It is located on the Pacific coast of Central America and is known for its volcanic landscapes and rich cultural heritage. Which mythical beast, raised by Hera to kill Hercules, was ultimately slain by him? The Lernaean Hydra. The Lernaean Hydra was a multi-headed serpent-like monster in Greek mythology, one of the offspring of Typhon and Echidna. Slaying the Hydra was the second of the 12 labors of Hercules, a monumental task he completed with the help of his nephew Iolaus. What type of fruit was involved in Hercules' 12 labors? Apples, specifically the golden apples of the Hesperides. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors involved retrieving the golden apples of the Hesperides. These magical apples were believed to grant immortality and were guarded by the Hesperides and a dragon named Ladon. What was the familial relationship between George III and George II? Grandson. George III was the grandson of George II. George III succeeded his grandfather to the British throne in 1760 and reigned for 59 years, making him one of Britain's longest reigning monarchs. A group of which type of birds is known as an exaltation? Larks. The term exaltation is a specific collective noun used to refer to a group of larks. Collective nouns for animals are a common subject in general knowledge and English language proficiency tests. Near which town in Berkshire was the Royal Military Academy founded in 1799? Sandhurst. The Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, RMAS, is the British Army's officer initial training centre. Established in 1799, it is renowned for its prestigious history in training future military leaders and its motto, "Serve to Lead." What word describes a triangle where all three sides are of different lengths? Scalene. A scalene triangle is a type of triangle where all three sides have different lengths, and consequently, all three angles also have different measures. This distinguishes it from equilateral triangles, all sides equal, and isosceles triangles, two sides equal. What famous event took place on December 16, 1773? Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party was a political protest by American colonists against the British government and the East India Company. Colonists, disguised as Mohawk Indians, boarded ships in Boston Harbor and dumped chests of tea into the water, protesting the Tea Act and taxation without representation. This event was a significant act of defiance leading up to the American Revolution. Who was King George IV's mother? Queen Charlotte. Queen Charlotte, born Sophie Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, was the queen consort of King George III of the United Kingdom and Hanover. She was the mother of 15 children, including the future kings George IV and William IV. Her extensive patronage of arts and interest in botany are notable aspects of her reign. In WW2, in what year did these battles take place? Luzon, Halbe, Trieste and Okinawa? 1945. The battles of Luzon, Halbe, Trieste, and Okinawa all occurred in 1945, which marked the final year of World War II. Luzon and Okinawa were major campaigns in the Pacific theater, while Halbe and Trieste were among the concluding engagements on the European front as Allied forces advance against Nazi Germany. Which English author, 1707 to 1754, was also a J.P., Justice of the Peace? Henry Fielding. Henry Fielding, a prominent English novelist and dramatist of the 18th century, is best known for his picaresque novel ** The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling. Beyond his literary career, Fielding also served as a Justice of the Peace for Westminster, where he played a crucial role in the development of the Bow Street Runners, often considered one of London's first professional police forces. Who wrote The Solitary Reaper, 1805, and The World is Too Much with Us, 1802? William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was a major English Romantic poet who, with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, launched the Romantic Age in English literature with their joint publication Lyrical Ballads. The Solitary Reaper and The World is Too Much with Us are two of his celebrated poems, often studied for their deep connection to nature and critique of industrialization. In his poem, If, what does Kipling describe as those two impostors? Triumph and Disaster. Rudyard Kipling's iconic poem, If, is a timeless piece of Stoic advice, often regarded as an embodiment of Victorian-era ideals of self-mastery and resilience. In the poem, Kipling famously advises to meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, emphasizing the importance of maintaining composure and perspective regardless of external success or failure. What does a white number on a blue background signify on a road sign? Minimum speed limit. Road signs displaying a white number on a blue background typically indicate a minimum speed limit. This means drivers must not drive slower than the specified speed, unless conditions such as traffic congestion or adverse weather make it unsafe to do so. These signs are often used on motorways or specific road sections to ensure efficient traffic flow. In which country are the papal guards traditionally recruited? Switzerland. The Pontifical Swiss Guard, responsible for the safety of the Pope and the Apostolic Palace, recruits its members exclusively from Swiss male Catholic citizens. This tradition dates back to the 16th century, making them one of the oldest military units in continuous service with a unique and historically significant role. Which historical method of execution shares its name with a piece of office equipment? Guillotine. The guillotine, a device designed for carrying out executions by beheading, became infamous during the French Revolution. The term also applies to a type of office equipment, a paper guillotine, used for cutting paper, where a heavy, sharp blade falls to make a clean, precise cut, sharing a mechanical principle with its historical namesake. What emblem was adopted in 1991 as a global symbol of AIDS awareness? Red ribbon. The red ribbon was adopted in 1991 as a powerful international symbol of AIDS awareness, solidarity with people living with HIV, AIDS, and remembrance of those who have died. Its simple yet striking design quickly gained widespread recognition, significantly contributing to public health campaigns and advocacy efforts globally. The 25th of January is the day of the year on which Scots celebrate which national hero? Robert Burns. Robert Burns, 1759 to 1796, is Scotland's national poet, celebrated annually on January 25, known as Burns Night. He is renowned for his romantic poetry and his profound contributions to Scottish culture and literature. In which country can you see the world-famous Alhambra Palace? Spain. The Alhambra Palace is a magnificent palace and fortress complex located in Granada, Andalusia, Spain. It was originally constructed as a small fortress in 889 AD and later extensively rebuilt and expanded by the Nasrid emirs, serving as the royal palace and fortress for Muslim rulers of Spain. Which European country is double landlocked by landlocked countries? Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is one of only two double landlocked countries in the world, meaning it is surrounded entirely by other landlocked countries. It is bordered by Switzerland to the west and south, and Austria to the east, both of which are also landlocked. Rila at 2,925 meters is the highest mountain range in the Balkans. It stands in which country? Bulgaria. The Rila mountain range, located in southwestern Bulgaria, contains Musala Peak, which is the highest point in both Bulgaria and the entire Balkan Peninsula at 2,925 meters, 9,596 feet. The range is known for its alpine character, glacial lakes, and rich biodiversity. Which lake is sometimes called Lac Léman in French? Lake Geneva. Lake Geneva, one of the largest lakes in Western Europe, is known as Lac Léman in French, reflecting its prominent position in both Switzerland and France. It is a glacial lake located on the north side of the Alps, shared between the two countries. Who immediately succeeded Augustus as Emperor of Rome? Tiberius. Tiberius Claudius Nero was the second Roman emperor, reigning from 14 AD to 37 AD. He was the stepson and adopted heir of Augustus, becoming his immediate successor and establishing the Julio-Claudian dynasty. In 33 AD, who allegedly began living with his own teenage sister, Drusilla, as his wife. Gaius aka, or Caligula. Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus, famously known as Caligula, was a Roman emperor infamous for his tyrannical and extravagant rule. His alleged incestuous relationship with his sister Drusilla is one of the many scandalous tales associated with his reign, contributing to his posthumous reputation for depravity. Who designed the Crystal Palace for the Great Exhibition of 1851? Joseph Paxton. Joseph Paxton, a renowned English gardener, architect, and Member of Parliament, designed the Crystal Palace for the Great Exhibition of 1851 in Hyde Park, London. This innovative cast iron and plate glass structure was a marvel of Victorian engineering and a symbol of industrial progress. What is most remarkable about the site of Osaka's Kansai International Airport? Floating or man-made island. Kansai International Airport is an architectural marvel built entirely on an artificial island in Osaka Bay, Japan. Constructed to overcome land scarcity and minimize noise pollution, this engineering feat opened in 1994 and is designed to withstand significant seismic activity and typhoons. Which of Rodin's sculptures was his first to be erected in a public place, in Paris in 1906? The Thinker, Le Penseur. Auguste Rodin's The Thinker, Le Penseur, is an iconic bronze sculpture originally conceived as part of his larger work, The Gates of Hell. The first monumental bronze casting was publicly erected in front of the Pantheon in Paris in 1906, before being relocated to the Rodin Museum. It symbolizes deep contemplation and intellectual struggle. Which art gallery is located at Bankside, London SE1? Tate Modern. Tate Modern is a renowned modern and contemporary art gallery situated on Bankside, London, along the River Thames. Housed in the former Bankside Power Station, it is a key part of the Tate network and one of the world's most visited museums of modern art.